Dominic Carter, Red Apple Podcast, 77 WABC. Check me out on the radio midnight to 1 a.m., Monday through Friday. The bipartisan agreement a group of senators reached as it relates to guns is a step in the right direction for America. This is my podcast. Let's go. One of the stories out of New York City, newsflash, the price of everything is going up. But even the city budget? Mayor Eric Adams and the city council reached an agreement on a record-breaking city budget at $101 billion. This budget blows past the $98 billion deal his predecessor, Bill de Blasio, struck with lawmakers last year. But the story impacting all of us, the group of U.S. senators announcing that agreement, at least in principle, for gun safety legislation, which includes needed mental health resources. Check. America needs this. Improves school safety and support for students. Check. America needs this. And helps ensure dangerous criminals and those who are adjudicated as mentally ill can't purchase weapons. Check. America needs this. Double check. Notably, the announcement includes the support of 10 Republican senators, which would give the proposal enough support to overcome the Senate filibuster. This agreement is important, given how divided lawmakers have been over the gun issue. But a big question mark and a possible deal breaker, the actual legislative language is not yet written. So we'll see. I'm not being a pessimist. Rather, I'm being a realist. Critically, the legislation also includes a so-called red flag provision, with the government providing resources to states and tribes to create and administer laws that help ensure deadly weapons are kept out of the hands of individuals whom a court has determined to be a significant danger to themselves or others, according to the news release. So the glass is certainly half full rather than half empty. Progress when it comes to guns, let's face it, each side has had their heels dug in, not wanting to give 1 inch. So any agreement at this point is definitely progress. When we look back at how the Senate did move the needle, obviously it's because of what happened in Buffalo and Texas. But the words that are still resonating with me are those from Hollywood actor Matthew Mcconaughey. He is a gun owner who is from Uvalde, Texas. He visited the White House and was quite emotional. McConaughey was tearful and gave an impassioned speech. The Dallas Buyers Club, Academy Award winner, paid tribute to the victims of the mass shooting and demanded action to prevent future bloodbaths. A reasonable approach, instead of just throwing up our hands that we can never stop the problem of mass shootings. Here is my point. McConaughey connected. McConaughey resonated. What am I talking about? He put into words the actual process that was required to literally figure out the identity of some of the kids in Texas. How the green sneakers that one girl had on was the identifying factor.
Maite wore green high-top Converse with a heart she had hand-drawn on the right toe because they represented her love of nature. Camilla's got these shoes. Can you show these shoes, please? Wore these every day. Green Converse with a heart on the right toe. These are the same green Converse on her feet that turned out to be the only clear evidence that could identify her after the shooting. How about that? Maybe they wrote a letter.
An emotional Matthew McConaughey at the White House, who also remembered one of the teachers, Miss Irma Garcia. Her husband died less than 48 hours after the shooting of a heart attack. Her husband, Joe Garcia, died of a broken heart. Hardworking Americans, according to McConaughey, gone way too soon.
Both worked overtime to support their 4 kids. Irma even worked every summer when school was out. The money she had made 2 summers ago paid to paint the front of the house. The money she made last summer paid to paint the sides of the house. This summer's work was going to pay to paint the back of the house. Because Irma was one of the teachers who was gunned down in the classroom. Joe, her husband, literally died of heartache the very next day when he had a heart attack. They never got to paint the back of their house. They never got to retire. And they never got to get that food truck together.
McConaughey was basically arguing my point. The country has to be at the point of getting something done, anything on gun control, for all of our sake. Show the American people, as he argued, progress.
We need responsible gun ownership. Responsible gun ownership. We need background checks. We need to raise the minimum age to purchase an AR-15 rifle to 21. We need a waiting period for those rifles. We need red flag laws and consequences for those who abuse them. These are reasonable, practical, tactical regulations to our nation, states, communities, schools, and homes. Responsible gun owners are fed up with the Second Amendment being abused and hijacked by some deranged individuals. These regulations are not a step back. They're a step forward for a civil society and the Second Amendment.
And why do I know we need gun control? The handwriting is on the wall. How many more shootings until we do something? Please listen to another person at the congressional hearing. The only pediatrician in Uvalde, Dr. Roy Guerrero, also describing what it was like identifying the victims.
2 children whose bodies had been pulverized by bullets fired at them, decapitated, whose flesh had been ripped apart, that the only clue as their identities was a blood-splattered cartoon clothes still clinging to them, clinging for life and finding none. I could only hope these 2 bodies were a tragic exception to the list of survivors. But as I waited there with my fellow Uvalde doctors, nurses, first responders, and hospital staff for other casualties we hope to save, they never arrived. All that remained was the bodies of 17 more children and the 2 teachers who cared for them.
And then there was 11-year-old Uvalde massacre survivor, Miah Cerrillo, who also testified to Congress via video. 11-year-old Miah detailed how she stayed alive during the Robb Elementary School massacre by smearing her friend's blood on herself and playing dead.
When I went to the backpacks, he shot my friend that was next to me, and I thought he was going to come back to the room, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me. And
What did you do then when you put the blood on yourself?
just stay quiet, and then I got my teacher's phone and called 911.
And what did you tell 911?
I told her that we need help and to send the police in our classroom.
Now, full stop. And think about this. Miah testified what it was like watching her teacher die right in front of her.
There's a door between our classrooms, and he went through there and shot my teacher and told my teacher goodnight and shot her in the head. And then he shot some of my classmates and the whiteboard.
Miah was asked what changes she would like to see. She shook her head no when asked if she feels safe at school. And when asked why, did she think it would happen again, she shook her head yes.
If there was something that you want people to know about that day and about you, right? Or things that you want different, what would it be?
To have security.
Do you feel safe at school? Why not?
Because I don't want it to happen again.
And you think it's going to happen again?
And her father testified that even though Miah is alive, as one would expect, she is not the same little girl.
I could have lost my baby girl. She's not the same little girl that I used to play with, hang around with, and do everything, because she was daddy's little girl. I have 5 kids, and she's the middle child. I don't know what to do, because I think I would have lost my baby girl.
Nothing is done in Washington until it's fully completed and signed into law, but this bipartisan group of senators deserve credit. This is a step in the right direction. Folks, if you are interested in my book on my life growing up in New York City and overcoming numerous obstacles, or my bobblehead doll, you can go to my website, DominicCarterOnline.com, all one word, DominicCarterOnline.com. You can catch me on 77 WABC weeknights, midnight to 1 a.m. Go check out the Dominic Carter merchandise at the 77 WABC store, from Dominic Carter T-shirts to hats and much more. Go to WABCRadiostore.com. I will see you the next time right here. Dominic Carter, Red Apple Podcasts, 77 WABC.